The twin suns of Calyria were setting behind the crystal mountains, painting the sky in soft gold and blue. Inside the royal palace, everything was silent, until a loud alarm echoed through the long marble halls. Queen Saranaxa of the Aelirian Empire stood at the balcony of her tower. Her silver hair flowed like water behind her long gown. She stared at the sky as a message came through on her wrist communicator. "Unknown ship entering orbit," said the royal guard. "No weapons detected. Requesting permission to scan." The queen did not blink. "Send the message to my private chamber. I will see it myself." Minutes later, she stood alone, watching a private recording sent from the strange ship. The face that appeared on the screen made her heart stop. It was her daughter, Princess Lissari, the daughter she believed dead 10 years ago. "Mother," the voice said, soft but strong. "I'm coming home. I have much to explain. Please meet me." The queen sat down slowly, tears in her eyes. Her voice trembled as she whispered, "Lissari, you're alive." The news spread through the palace like fire. The lost princess had returned. The royal court was buzzing with whispers. Some were hopeful, others were nervous. High Minister Zorek frowned as he looked at the queen. "Your Majesty, this could be a trick. Are we sure it is her?" She spoke the Song of Stars. The queen said firmly, "Only my daughter knows that melody." "But it has been 10 years, he argued. "What if she has changed?" "She survived," Saranaxa said. "That is all that matters." At the royal spaceport, nobles and guards gathered in silence. Soldiers stood in rows. The queen waited at the center, standing tall but nervous. The alien ship landed gently, its engines humming low. It looked strange. Not Aelirian, not Zarketh, not any known design. The ramp opened, and there she was. Princess Lissari stepped out, wearing a long travel cloak. Her eyes, bright violet like her mother's, scanned the crowd. Then they softened as they landed on the queen. Saranaxa took a step forward, her hands shaking. "Lissari." Lissari smiled and ran into her mother's arms. Everyone gasped. A few nobles smiled, but many remained cold. A princess hugging the queen in public was rare. The moment was perfect, until the second figure walked down the ramp. He was tall and broad-shouldered. He wore simple dark clothes, a travel pack on his back. His skin was fair, his hair brown and short. His eyes scanned the crowd sharply. Ready, alert. A human. The queen froze. Lissari stepped back and turned to him. "This is Eric Thorne," she said. "My husband." The silence was deep and heavy. "A human? Married to an Aelirian princess?" Many nobles whispered in horror. Some took a step back. The queen's face became hard. "Husband?" she said. "You married a human?" Lissari nodded. "He saved my life. He gave me hope. He stood by me when no one else did." Eric bowed deeply. "Your Majesty," he said politely. The queen didn't return the bow. "You should not have come here," she said quietly. "If he cannot stay," Lissari said clearly, "then neither will I." Inside the palace, tension grew. Lissari and Eric were given a guest chamber, but it was heavily guarded. Not for protection, for control. The queen sat in the throne room, deep in thought. High Minister Zorek stood beside her. "You cannot allow this, Majesty," he said. "The people will not accept it. A human, married to the future queen? She is my daughter," the queen said. "And he is her choice." Zorek narrowed his eyes. "What if he is here to spy? What if Earth wants to control our throne?" She would never let that happen. "You raised her to be strong," Zorek said. "But 10 years among aliens changes anyone. We must be careful." That night, in the guest room, Eric looked out at the alien stars. Lissari sat beside him on the bed, her hand in his. "I told you they wouldn't like me," he said with a sad smile. "I didn't care then," Lissari said, "and I don't care now. They think I'm weak, primitive. You're not." Eric looked at her. "You really want to stay here?" Lissari took a deep breath. "Not just to come home. There's more, Eric. The Zarketh Dominion. I heard their plans. They want to invade Kaliria. I came to warn my mother." Eric frowned. "And you think she'll listen?" "She has to." The next morning, Lissari met her mother in the royal garden. The queen stood by the star fountain, watching the waters. "Why didn't you send word?" she asked. "For 10 years, I grieved you." "I had no way," Lissari said. "My pod crashed on a forgotten mining world. The signal was dead. No one came. But the humans did." She told her mother everything: how she was rescued by human colonists, how she met Eric, how they lived, loved, and survived. The queen listened in silence. "They are not like us," Lissari said. "But they are kind, brave. Eric never gave up on me." The queen turned to face her. "And you love him?" "With all my heart." The queen looked away. "I see the fire in you, Lissari, but the court will never accept this." "Then change the court," Lissari said, "or watch it fall." In the main hall, the royal advisors debated. "He cannot stay," Zorek said. "He's a danger to our traditions." "Perhaps we should give him a chance," said Councillor Marine, one of the younger nobles. "The humans helped her survive. Should we not respect that?" "It is more than that," Zorek argued. "This could lead to bloodline corruption. The throne must remain pure." Lissari entered the hall with Eric behind her. "The throne belongs to the people," she said. "And the people deserve the truth. I came back not just to return home, but to warn you." She pulled out a small device. A projection appeared, showing images of Zarketh ships gathering in deep space. "The Dominion is preparing to strike," she said. "They know our defenses are weak on the eastern rim. They plan to invade in weeks." Silence filled the room. "Where did you get this?" the queen asked. "From Eric," Lissari said. "His people intercepted it." Eric stepped forward. "We humans may be new to the stars, but we know war when we see it, and we know how to survive it." Zorek sneered. "How do we know this isn't a human trap?" The queen raised her hand. "Enough." She stood from the throne and looked at Eric. "You have 3 days to prove your worth. Until then you are a guest. But if I find one lie, I understand," Eric said calmly. Late at night, in the shadows of the palace, a dark figure moved through the halls. A cloaked servant passed a message to a stranger. "It is done," he whispered. "The queen still protects him." The stranger's voice was cold. "Then we do it the old way," he said. "Make it look like an accident. The human must die before he spreads more poison." The palace of Kaliria shone like silver in the morning sun. Tall towers reached for the sky, glowing softly with ancient energy. But inside the grand walls, not everything was bright. In the queen's private study, she sat alone at her crystal desk, reading the message Lissari had brought. It was real. The Zarketh Dominion was planning war. The images showed hundreds of ships, silent, cold, and deadly. The queen leaned back. Her heart was heavy. Her daughter had returned with love, but also with danger, and with a human. In the guest chamber, Lissari opened her eyes slowly. Eric was already up, sitting near the window, repairing a small device. "You didn't sleep," she said. "I'm used to staying alert," Eric replied. "This place, it's beautiful, but full of eyes." Lissari sat beside him. "I'm sorry. I wanted this to be peaceful." "It's not your fault," he said. "They don't trust me." "They will." Eric turned to her. "Do you?" Lissari smiled. with everything I have." Later that day, the queen called Lissari and Eric to a private garden. The air smelled of glowing flowers, and colorful birds flew through the trees. "Tell me everything," the queen said. Lissari took a deep breath and began her story. 10 years ago, Lissari was on a royal tour when her convoy was attacked by space raiders. Her escape pod was damaged and thrown far off course. It crashed on a forgotten mining world called Vetrax 9. The planet was rough, dry winds, sharp mountains, and old broken machines. There was no signal, no help. But there were humans. A small group of Earth settlers lived there. They were poor, struggling to survive. Yet when they found Lissari, wounded and unconscious, they didn't leave her. They carried her back to their outpost. They gave her food, medicine, and time to heal. Among them was a young engineer, Eric Thorne. "He built machines from trash," Lissari said. "He fixed everything. And he fixed me too." Eric looked down, embarrassed. "At first I didn't speak to him," Lissari continued. "I thought he was just another loud, strange human." The queen raised an eyebrow. "But he never pushed." "Me," Lissari said. "He brought me books, helped me walk again, showed me the stars through a broken telescope. One night, there was a power failure. The air filters almost shut down. Everyone panicked except Eric. He ran through the storm, climbed a tower with broken legs, and fixed the power with nothing but wires and willpower. That's when I saw who he really was," Lissari said. "Not just a human, a fighter, a protector." The queen listened silently. For years, they tried to contact anyone, but Vetrax 9 was off all known routes. No one ever came. So Lissari stayed. She helped the people, learned to work, learned to fight. And somewhere along the way, she fell in love. She and Eric married in a small garden under strange red trees. No royal guards, no jewels, just friends, laughter, and promises. And then, Lissari said, "We heard the signal. A Zarketh ship passed nearby. Eric caught the broadcast. It spoke of war. They were watching Kaliria, preparing." "That's when we left," Eric added. "We took an old freighter barely flying. We knew we had to warn you." The queen looked at both of them. "You risked your lives to return?" "Yes," Lissari said. "Because I still care about Kaliria." "And you trust this human?" the queen asked. "With your life?" "I trust him with more than that," Lissari said softly. "With my heart." Back in the palace, High Minister Zorek paced. His chambers. He had listened to the conversation through a hidden device. His eyes burned with anger. "This human cannot be allowed to stay," he said. "He brings weakness, chaos." A hooded figure stepped from the shadows. "Then we remove him." Quietly, Zorek said, "No blood in the palace. Make it look like an accident." That night, Eric sat in the royal library reading old star maps. He loved learning. Kalirian books were strange, but fascinating. He didn't notice the silent figure moving behind him. A blade flashed in the dark, but just as it came down, Eric turned. He grabbed a book and threw it at the assassin's face. The blade missed, cutting the table instead. Eric rolled behind a statue and picked up a heavy lamp. The assassin came forward fast. Eric waited, then swung. The lamp hit hard, and the hooded figure fell. Guards rushed in seconds later, finding Eric standing over the unconscious attacker. The queen arrived soon after. She looked at the broken lamp, the ruined table, the fallen assassin. "You were attacked?" Eric nodded. "Someone wants me dead." "I will find who did this," the queen said. "No need," Eric replied, showing a small badge he pulled from the attacker's robe. "It's from the royal guard. Someone close to you ordered this." The queen's face went cold. By morning, the palace shook with rumors. Someone tried to kill the human. Some were shocked, others were pleased. But the queen acted quickly. She, called a meeting with all high advisors. Lissari and Eric stood beside her. "One of you sent an assassin," the queen said, "to kill a guest under my protection." No one spoke. "Eric saved my daughter's life, twice. He brings knowledge, courage, and truth. And now he brings warning of war." She looked at Zorek, who stood still, lips tight. "From this moment he will be treated with respect, or you will answer to me." Zorek didn't speak, but his eyes burned with silent rage. Later that day, the queen spoke privately with Eric. "I still have doubts," she said. "But you protected my daughter. You warned me of danger. You faced death and stayed calm." Eric shrugged. "I've had worse days." The queen almost smiled. "Tell me," she asked, "why do humans fight so hard for others?" Eric thought for a moment. "Because we know what it's like to be alone. And we know how to survive. Not with magic, not with bloodlines, with effort, with heart." The queen nodded slowly. "I will remember that." That evening, Lissari and Eric walked through the palace gardens. "Your mother didn't throw us out," Eric said. "She's changing," Lissari replied. "Maybe seeing us broke something open inside her." "Maybe," Eric said. "But something tells me this peace won't last." Lissari looked at him. "You feel it too?" "Yeah. Someone's still planning something." They stood together under the stars. "I'll protect you," Eric said. "No matter what." Lissari smiled. "I know." Far away, in a secret chamber, below the palace, Zorek met with a strange figure. A hologram of a Zarketh warlord appeared. "Has the human been removed?" the warlord asked. "Not yet," Zorek said. "The queen still protects him." "Then change the queen's mind," the warlord hissed. "Or we will." Zorek bowed. "The invasion begins soon?" "In 3 days," the warlord said. "Keep the humans blind. Keep the Aelirians weak." The hologram vanished. Zorek turned, eyes full of hate. "Let the humans come," he whispered. "We'll burn them from the stars." The night was quiet, but the palace was not at peace. Guards marched in pairs. Servants walked fast with their heads down. Everyone knew something was wrong, but no one said it out loud. Inside her royal chamber, Queen Seranaxa stared out her tall window. Her daughter was home. Her grandson, if one ever came, would be half human. Her throne, once strong and pure, now stood at a crossroads. She had ruled for 50 years. She had faced war, rebellion, and betrayal. But this felt different. This time the danger came from inside. In the guest wing, Eric could not sleep. He sat on the bed checking his tools. A small scanner, a data stick, and a short blade. Nothing special, but enough to survive. Lissari watched him from across the room. "Still expecting trouble?" she asked. "Yes," Eric said. "And I'm sure it's coming." Lissari walked over and sat beside him. "You've always had that feeling, even on Vetrax 9. Vetrax was simple. Broken robots, desert storms. But this palace? It hides, knives behind smiles." Lissari looked at him with pride. "You see more than most Aelirians do." Eric gave a small smile. "Maybe that's why they hate me." "They don't all hate you. Just the ones with power." Far beneath the palace, High Minister Zorek moved through a dark hall. Torches lit the stone walls with soft blue fire. He stopped at a sealed door and placed his hand on the glowing lock. The door opened. Inside, a group of masked warriors waited. They wore dark cloaks and carried silent blades. Zorek stepped forward. "The queen still protects the human," he said. "But tonight, that ends." One of the warriors spoke. "You want us to kill a guest?" "He is not just a guest," Zorek hissed. "He is the start of human rule. If we do nothing, the throne will fall into Earth's hands. We must act now." The leader nodded. "It will be done." At midnight, the palace halls were empty. The lights dimmed. The guards were sleepy. Everything was silent, except for soft footsteps in the dark. 5 assassins moved like shadows. They slipped past the guards, through secret halls, and reached the guest chamber. One assassin placed a device on the wall. It made no sound but unlocked the door slowly. The others drew their blades. Inside, Eric lay in bed, eyes closed. Lissari slept beside him. The door opened. The assassins stepped in. Then the lights turned on, bright and blinding. Eric jumped from the bed, fully dressed, holding a small device. "You took too long," he said. The assassins froze. Eric pressed a button. A hidden panel in the wall opened, and 4 palace guards rushed in with energy spears. "Drop your weapons," one guard shouted. The assassins fought back, but Eric was already moving. He tackled one to the floor, grabbing the blade. Lissari pulled a hidden staff from under the bed and blocked another attacker's strike. The fight was fast and sharp. The assassins were trained, but not for humans like Eric. Within 2 minutes it was over. 3 assassins were captured. 2 escaped into the halls. The queen rushed to the scene in her robe, her guards beside her. She looked at the mess. The broken bed, the torn curtains, the wounded attackers. Eric stood calmly, holding a bruised arm. "5 tried to kill us," he said. "We caught 3. "Do you know who sent them?" the queen asked. "One of them dropped this," Eric said, tossing a small emblem. It was marked with the sigil of the Shadow Wing, an ancient order once loyal to the throne, now believed disbanded. The queen's face turned pale. "This order served my father," she whispered. "They were erased after the Black Rebellion." "Someone brought them back," Eric said, "and they're in your palace." Later, in the dungeons, the queen questioned the captured assassins. They refused to speak. Eric stepped in. He sat across from the leader, calm and quiet. "I'm not Illyrian," Eric said. "I don't care about your oaths, but I know how men like you think." The assassins stared at him. "You don't like humans. You think we're dirt, weak, but you know what makes us different? We're stubborn." Eric leaned closer. "And I'm not going anywhere." The assassin laughed. "Your kind doesn't belong here," Eric smiled. "Maybe. But we're here now." The assassin's face changed slightly. There was fear. That fear gave Eric an idea. "Who paid you?" he asked. The assassin stayed silent. Eric got up. "Then enjoy your cell, because the queen's going to burn the Shadow Wing to ash." As he walked away, the assassin shouted, "You can't stop it! The war is already coming!" Eric stopped. What? War. But the assassin said nothing more. Back in her study, the queen sat with Lissari and Eric. "They fear you," she told Eric. "They fear what you represent." "I'm just one man," Eric said. "No, you are more," Saranaxa replied. "You're proof that humans and Illyrians can mix, that the old blood laws are dying. And some want those laws to stay forever," Lissari added. The queen nodded. "Zorek must be behind this. He speaks of peace but walks with knives." "Then expose him," Eric said. "It's not that simple," the queen replied. "He has many allies. I need proof." "Then let me get it," Eric said. "I've dealt with worse on mining colonies." The queen raised an eyebrow. "You want to go undercover?" Eric smiled. "You'll be surprised what a human can do when no one's watching." The next evening, Eric disguised himself as a worker. With help from Lissari, he wore simple clothes and covered his face with dust and a fake scar. He moved through the lower halls of the palace. He listened, he watched, and slowly, he found what he needed. Zorek met with a messenger in a storage room. Eric saw it all through a vent. The messenger handed Zorek a device. "The fleet moves in 2 days," the messenger said. "The Zarketh are ready, but the queen must fall. She still protects the human." "She won't protect him for long," Zorek replied. "I've arranged another accident, this time public." Eric's eyes narrowed. He returned to the Queen that night with a recording. You were right, he said. Zorek is working with the Zarketh. The Queen listened to the recording in silence. Then she stood. Tomorrow, we end this. At dawn, the Queen called an emergency court meeting. Nobles filled the hall. Zorek stood at her side, pretending to be loyal. The Queen stood before her people. Last night, assassins tried to kill my daughter and her husband, she said. They failed. Gasps filled the room. But more than that, I have learned the truth. Someone among us is working with the Zarketh, feeding them secrets, planning to help them conquer Kaliria. Zorek's face stayed still. The Queen turned to him. And that man is you. The hall exploded with noise. Zorek laughed. Lies! Human tricks! Eric stepped forward and played the recording. Zorek's voice filled the room. Nobles shouted. Guards moved. Zorek tried to escape, but Lissari blocked the door, her staff in hand. You betrayed us, the Queen said coldly. You will face royal justice. Zorek was dragged away screaming. Later that day, the Queen met Eric and Lissari in the garden. You saved us again, she said. Your methods are strange, but effective. Eric smiled. That's just human thinking. The Queen looked at him. You are not just Lissari's husband anymore. You are now a protector of the realm. Lissari smiled proudly, but Eric's face was serious. The real fight isn't over, he said. The Zarketh fleet is still coming. The Queen nodded. Yes. And now we prepare for war. Far in deep space, the Zarketh warlord watched his screen. Zorek has failed, his commander said. Then we attack now, the warlord growled. Before the humans dig in, hundreds of warships began to move. The invasion had begun. The skies above Kaliria were peaceful. Birds flew between glowing towers. The twin suns warmed the marble walkways. But beneath that beauty, the royal palace prepared for war. In the command chamber, Queen Saranaxa stood beside a large map made of starlight. Dots moved slowly across the galaxy. Each dot was a ship, and hundreds of red ones were coming straight toward her world. The Zarketh fleet will arrive in less than 48 hours, the lead general reported. Beside the Queen stood Lissari and Eric. They listened quietly as the room buzzed with worry and fear. The eastern defenses are weak, another commander said, and we don't have enough ships to protect the entire planet. The outer colonies have sent messages, the Queen said. They ask for help, but we can't spare any. They planned this, Eric said. The Zarketh waited until your defenses were stretched. They want to take the capital first, Lissari added. If they break through Kaliria, the rest of the system falls easily. The Queen stayed silent for a moment. Then she looked at Eric. Can Earth help us? Eric stepped forward. His voice was calm. Earth can help, but you must send a message now, and you must trust them. Many generals looked uneasy. Humans? One whispered. They're unpredictable. They're survivors, Lissari replied. They saved me when no one else did. The Queen nodded. Send the call. Use the royal beacon. Eric pulled out a small communicator from his belt and connected it to the palace system. He typed quickly. Within moments, the message left the palace, traveling through space, through wormholes and deep channels, straight toward Earth's colonies. Far away in the Terran Alliance Central Command, the message arrived. Admiral Saito read the signal. His eyes narrowed. Kaliria is under threat, he said, and they've asked for our help. His second-in-command stepped forward. Do we respond, sir? It's not our war. Admiral Saito's voice was firm. Lissari is one of ours now. That means her home is under our protection. Prepare the fleet. 100 human ships began to move. Back on Kaliria, time was running out. The Queen, Lissari, and Eric stood in the war hall, where maps glowed and plans changed by the hour. Our weapons were built for small attacks, a general said. Not full invasion. Then think like a human, Eric said. Use what you have. Hide, trap, confuse them. You mean fight dirty? Another officer asked, shocked. Yes, Eric said. Because this isn't a parade. It's survival. He stepped to the map and pointed. They'll come through here, he said, showing a narrow star path. It's fast, but tight. If we mine this area and hide a few drones with EMP bursts, we can stop their first wave. The generals looked unsure. He's right, Lissari said. This worked on Vatrax 9 when pirates came. The Queen gave a single nod. Do it. In the training yard, Illyrian soldiers lined up. They wore silver armor and held long staffs that hummed with energy. Then Eric arrived, with a box of strange human weapons. These are EMP grenades, he said. Don't throw them near your friends, unless you hate them. Some soldiers laughed. He walked up to a tall Illyrian warrior. Your blade is beautiful, Eric said. But if a drone hits you from the air, you'll need one of these. He handed him a shock pistol. We don't use such tools, the warrior said. Then you'll die with honor, Eric said. Or you can live and win. The Queen watched from above. She saw how the human moved, taught, explained. He didn't command with rank, he led with reason. She finally began to understand why her daughter had chosen him. That night, the Queen stood alone in the Star Chamber. Lisa rejoined her. I see him now, the Queen said. The human. He is not what I expected. Lissari smiled. He never is. The Queen turned. If I fall, and you must rule, are you ready? Lissari nodded. Yes, and Eric will stand beside me. I believe he will, the Queen whispered. They looked to the stars. Red dots moved closer. At dawn, the sky changed. A dark wave passed over the upper atmosphere. The Zarketh fleet had arrived. Thousands of metal ships hovered above. The world, long and sharp like daggers in space, alarms rang through every city. The Queen stood in her war suit, silver armor, crowned helmet, royal blade on her side. She walked out onto the balcony and looked up. This is our world, she said. We will not give it to tyrants. All of Kaliria heard her voice. The first wave hit fast. Zarketh drop pods slammed into the eastern defense zone. Towers exploded. Fires rose, but the mines Eric placed worked perfectly. The first group of enemy ships was caught in a net of explosions and EMP bursts. Half the fleet froze in space, dead. On the ground, Illyrian soldiers fought bravely. Eric moved with a small team, fixing damaged turrets and redirecting power. Lissari led a strike group through the West Forest, cutting off enemy scouts. In the main city, explosions hit the lower districts. A Zarketh walker stormed through the streets. People screamed. Then a beam from the Queen's tower struck it. Saranaxa herself jumped from her ship, landing with fire around her. She drew her blade and faced the machine. One slice, it fell. Eric's team was pinned near the generator hall. We need power back, he shouted. A soldier screamed. We're surrounded! Eric grabbed a plasma cutter. Cover me! He ran toward the panel and connected wires as bullets flew past. A spark, then a roar. The shield came back on. The generator hummed. The enemy was forced back. Now, Eric yelled. Push them! The team charged forward, led by a human with oil on his hands and fire in his eyes. Hours passed. The sun dipped. Then, light flashed in the sky. A new fleet dropped from hyperspace. But it wasn't the enemy. It was Earth. Terran ships flew over Kaliria, firing lasers and missiles at the enemy fleet. Their war cries echoed through every speaker. We heard your call, came Admiral Saito's voice. Let's send them back to the void. Human marines dropped from orbit, landing beside Illyrian fighters. Together, they pushed forward. For the first time, humans and Illyrians fought side by side, and the Zarketh began to fall. At the center of the capital, Queen Saranaxa and warlord Grathor faced each other. "You are old," the warlord said. "Your blood is weak," the queen smiled. "Then you've never seen Illyrian wrath." They clashed, blade against claw, magic against strength. In the end, the queen stood over the warlord's broken form. "This is our world," she said again. "Leave it." By nightfall, the battle was over. The Zarketh fleet fled. Their dead were left behind. The people cheered. Lights filled the sky. Victory. In the palace, the queen sat with her daughter and Eric. "You saved us," she said. "Both of you." "We all fought," Eric said. "Together." The queen looked at him kindly. "You came as an outsider. You stayed as a warrior, and now you are one of us." Eric nodded. "Thank you, Your Majesty." "No," she said. "Call me Mother." Lissari smiled, tears in her eyes. The stars above Calliria shone bright and clear. The war was over. The enemy fleet had fled into the dark void of space. The people of Calliria celebrated in every city, every village. Lights sparkled like fireflies, and songs filled the air. But inside the royal palace, a quieter celebration was taking place. Queen Saranaxa stood beside her daughter Lissari and her human husband, Eric Thorn. The air was thick with hope and something new, promise. The great hall was full of nobles, soldiers, and guests from Earth. Flags of Calliria and Earth hung side by side. The air buzzed with excitement and respect. Lissari stood in front of her mother, wearing a silver crown that gleamed like the twin suns. Her violet eyes sparkled with pride. "Today," the queen announced, "I name my daughter as the heir to the throne, and I name her husband, Eric Thorn, as defender of Calliria and ambassador to the Terran Alliance." A cheer rose from the crowd. Eric stood tall and calm, feeling the weight of his new title. He looked at Lissari, who smiled warmly. After the ceremony, Lissari and Eric walked through the palace gardens. The air smelled sweet with blooming flowers. "I never dreamed this would happen," Lissari said softly. Eric took her hand. "Neither did I. But sometimes, the impossible is just waiting for us to fight for it." She leaned on his shoulder. "You changed everything. Not just for me, but for all of Calliria. And you changed me," Eric said. "You showed me what love and courage look like." They stood quietly, watching the stars. That night, the queen sat alone in her chamber, writing a message to the Terran Alliance, to the people of Earth. "Thank you for standing with us when the darkness came. Together, we have shown that different worlds can become one. This is only the beginning of a new era." She paused and smiled. "May this alliance bring peace and strength to all." She sent the message with a calm heart. The next morning, the queen called her council. The defeated Zarketh were retreating, but not gone. Calliria had to rebuild, and so did its alliances. "Eric," the queen said, "you will lead the new diplomatic mission to Earth. Teach us about your people and bring their knowledge to our world." Eric nodded. "I will serve with honor." Lissari smiled proudly. "And I will prepare to rule when the time comes." The queen looked at her daughter with love. "You are ready? And together, you will guide Calliria to a new future." Meanwhile, the people of Calliria began to see change. In markets, humans and Illyrians worked side by side. Children played together, learning each other's languages. Songs and stories blended into something new and beautiful. Old fears started to fade. Even the nobles who had opposed Eric and Lissari now saw the truth. Unity made them stronger. One evening, Eric sat with the queen in her garden. "You surprised me," she said. "Humans are not what I imagined. You fight with heart and mind, not just power." Eric smiled. "We have to. Earth is not an easy place." The queen nodded. "You saved Kaliria. You saved my family. For that, you have my eternal gratitude." Eric bowed. "I only did what anyone would do for the people they love." As the moons rose over the Crystal Mountains, Lissari and Eric prepared to leave for Earth. Their journey would be long, filled with new challenges. But they were ready. Together, they stepped onto the starship, its engines humming softly. Lissari looked back at her home. "This is just the beginning," she said. Eric smiled. "And the future is ours." The ship soared into the stars, carrying hope, peace, and a bond between two worlds. The queen watched from the palace, proud and hopeful. Her long-lost daughter had returned with a human husband, and together they would build a future brighter than any star.